Welcome back to All Classics Restoration, and we're continuing some work on the 74 Dodge D200, our new shop truck. And one of the things I needed to get taken care of was the fuel tank has a slight leak in it. Well, not a slight leak, it's got a pretty good leak in it. If you've watched the video of me bringing this truck home, you saw where I had to refrain from topping off the tank, because every time I would top the tank off, I'd probably lose a gallon or two of gas out of it between the time it would run it down to the point where it wouldn't leak anymore. So these trucks actually came from the factory back in 1974 with a plastic fuel tank. Well, that's kind of a good thing because you don't have to worry about them rusting, but they do have a habit of cracking. As I've learned through talking with other people that own these trucks and doing some research on the internet, these tanks do crack. Bad thing is, they don't make new ones. Why don't they make new ones? I don't know. There's a lot of these trucks out there and they're becoming more and more popular, but they do crack and there's no replacement. So, we are going to repair this tank using a plastic welder and some filler rods, and hopefully that will take care of the leak we have. And I'm going to go ahead and insulate the tank where it has contact with the frame rails, just to prevent any future problems that may occur with this tank vibrating in the frame and possibly cracking again. So I'm going to show you the tank, and I'm going to show you where the crack is, and then we'll get into fixing that crack. Okay, well, here's the tank. I've got it out. It took me about an hour to get it out. The straps that hold it in, the retainer bolts on it, are entirely too long and need to be shortened, but that's another subject. But anyhow, after looking the tank over, the only crack I have found so far, and it may be hard to see it, but is right here. There's a slight crack right here. So what we're going to do is, I've bought a plastic welding tool, and it comes with some filler rods, and we're going to go ahead and just use that on here and fill this back in and fix that crack. And then what we'll do is, any place where I see it looks like a sharp edge on the tank where it sits in the truck, I'm going to insulate it with some rubber that I have, and hopefully that'll keep the tank in good shape for the rest of the life of the truck. Okay, it's the next day, and I brought my tank inside and I've done an inspection on it, and this crack here, this is the only crack I can find in the tank, so that's a good thing. And I've already done a little bit of repairing to it here. Now what I did to prep this was, I found the length, the end of the crack on each side, and I drilled a hole, a very small hole on each end to stop the crack. Just like you would do with a cast iron crack, you want to stop the crack first. So then I've kind of V'd out, as you can see, the crack. And what I'm doing here, this is my plastic welder iron, just kind of running it through that V, just to open it up a little bit, which will also seal that back up. Now, I've got some filler pieces of plastic here, so we'll go ahead and put these into the crack and fill that crack in. Alright, we'll get that melted in there. Now we're just going to work it around. Make sure that it all melts and bonds good to the original plastic.
Yeah, this guy's gotta be using cheat codes. That's one way to be seeing green. This scanner was nearly seeing red. I mean, a fall like that commands a lot more things.
Alright, and that should take care of the crack.
This credit card has an interest rate that's
Hopefully it won't come back in that same spot or another one develop. But that also is going to keep our tank from leaking. Clean off the iron. Don't want to leave any plastic on there. And that's about it. So if you've got one of these plastic tanks in an old Dodge truck and you need to get it and it's leaking, don't be afraid to pull it out. I bought that plastic welder kit at Harbor Freight. It was very inexpensive and it did the job to fix our crack. Again, you want to make sure you check your tank really well, just to make sure there's no cracks anywhere else, but this was the only one I could find on it. So I think that's going to be as much as we can do with that, and I'm going to go ahead and next thing I'll do is I've got some rubber that I'm going to make pieces up for to kind of just insulate where this thing sits against the metal framing on the truck and try and prevent this from happening again. Alright, so I've got my tank all ready, new sending unit in. I've cut my rubber strips that I wanted to put on here to help protect the tank, glued down on the tank, so this is all set here. And I've got some new clamps set up. I got my hose, my vent hose put on here. Now I'll have to see once I get this put in just how well it reaches around to that tube that is attached to the filler neck. I may need to get, like I said, a different hose with a little bit longer piece to it. My new supply hose is on here. So we're ready to go in with the tank. So I'm going to go ahead and get this under the truck, get her put back up in there, and then we'll be able to start using the truck again. Okay, so the fuel tank is back in. Got all our straps tight. Fuel line reattached here. Got our wires back on the connectors up there. Fuel filler tube connected. And on this side, the vent tube connected here. So this tank is ready to go for fill up and hopefully no leaks. So if you've got one of these mid 70s into the 80s Dodge trucks that has a leak in the tank, I just showed you how easy it is to fix that. You got to find the crack, get yourself a cheap plastic welder from Harbor Freight, and go ahead and get that tank fixed so that you're not leaking fuel and you can use the full capacity of your tank once again. And that's going to be the end of this, and it's time for me to go for lunch, as Ashton's telling me. So we'll see you again on the next one.